Attila the Hun has often been portrayed as no more than a savage, heathenish leader. Because of this reputation, the byname given to Attila means the Scourge of God. But despite his short reign as king of the Huns, he was able to unite the Hunnish people and lead them in a greater unification than anyone had ever before been able to accomplish. These Hunnish people were little known except for their nomadic and barbaric ways until Attila united them in a conquering strength. Because of this reputation of strong leadership, many authors and historians have studied these powerful qualities and made his principles available for others in leadership positions to study. Through these principles, it is easily seen that there is a lot more to Attila than cliched barbarism. A man of astonishing ambition who displayed the forces like that of which no one had ever seen before. Born near the year circa 406, Attila was the son of King Mundzuk, king of the Huns, a nomadic Asiatic tribe from which it is thought to be a combination of Turkic, Mongolic, and Ugric peoples. After the death of his father, Attila was sent to Rome by his uncle, King Rugila, as a child hostage in exchange for Aetius, a Roman child hostage. This effort was apparently common practice at the time and done so in an effort to spread Roman influence and for the Romans to learn Hunnish behaviors. Though Attila was repulsed by this exchange, he used this time to learn customs and Roman etiquette that he would later use against them in his quest for power and dominance. By the year 434, Attila had begun this quest along with his brother Bleda, whom Attila later had killed according to legend. After his brother's death, he uncontestedly became the Huns' leader, Attila, king of the Huns. His empire began in Western Europe and eventually spread through Eastern Europe and a large part of Asia. It is evident that Attila displayed qualities of authentic leadership, although from an outside view it would seem that he was solely a brutal leader because of his quest for conquering. From the perspective of the Huns, he carried the 4 qualities necessary to be categorized as an authentic leader. One example of this is evident even after suffering defeat in the first year of his quest. Attila did not become discouraged. Instead, he learned from this defeat and became stronger than ever. Attila rejected suggestion of negotiation. He showed confidence and resilience. Through this, he did not allow his people to lose faith. Instead, he rallied their hope and gave them his optimism for future victories. When one considers Attila the Hun and servant leadership, a parallel is not the first thought that might come to mind, least of all in the biblical sense of servant leadership. However, when considering the 7 behaviors of servant leadership from Northhouse's book, Attila seems to fit the bill. Through conceptualizing emotional healing, putting others first, helping others grow and succeed, behaving ethically, empowering, and creating value for the community, Attila displayed his strong leadership among his people. True to his vow, when he became king, Attila was responsible and honest, never putting his own welfare before that of his Huns. His outcomes also manifested servant leadership, which resulted in follower performance and growth, organizational or tribal performance, and his leadership most definitely had a societal impact. Of the 3 skills required for the skills approach, Attila also exhibited these throughout his lifetime. At a young age, he mastered technical skills. Throughout his time of leadership, Attila demonstrated human skills. Then, it is evident that throughout his life, Attila displayed conceptual skills, although towards the end of his life, he seemed to lose his focus. The skills approach explains that effective problem-solving and performance are outcomes of the leader using this approach. Attila revealed his competence in this area when he led through successful campaigns for enlarging his empire. Oftentimes, he would have to make decisions to lead in battle, to devastate and plunder, or to simply negotiate with the area or country's leaders. Transformational leadership, according to Northhouse, prompts its leaders to create change through being strong role models for their followers, inspiring vision, changing the status quo, enabling others, and encouragement. Attila was one such leader. Regardless of victory or loss, Attila was determined to learn from others, and he encouraged his chieftains and warriors to do the same. As a ruler, Attila was an originator, in some respects revolutionary. He clearly perceived that if the Huns were to become a great power as he intended them to be, they must learn from other more advanced peoples. His own intimate circle of advisors, in consequence, consisted largely of foreigners. Early in his life, when he was sent to Rome, he unsuccessfully tried to rally other child hostages to eventually rise up against the Romans. When this failed, he did not become discouraged, but rather resigned himself to not only learning, but mastering the techniques of Roman battle, which he later implemented in his own conquering. Once again, it is evident that Attila displayed the major leadership traits listed in the trait approach: intelligence, self-confidence, determination, integrity, and sociability. Northouse also states that the trait approach fits our notion that leaders are individuals who are out front and leading the way in our society. It is evident that Attila displayed all of these qualities. Once, as Attila contemplated an attack on Rome, the Roman Empire Valentinian sent Pope Leo I to meet with Attila in hopes of deterring the Hunnish army from another attack. After this meeting, Attila consented, and a battle was avoided. This showed great discernment on the part of Attila to keep his warriors safe and to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Scripturally, Attila the Hun's positive attributes can be compared to many scripture passages. He was not willing to stay defeated. He was determined. Proverbs 24:16 states, "For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again." Additionally, he cared for the needs of his people. Proverbs 27:23 says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds." Attila made sure that his people were taken care of. One last scriptural comparison is that of prudence. Attila had great discernment as to how he could unify and lead his people. This characteristic follows the principle of Proverbs 13:16. "Every prudent man dealeth with knowledge, but a fool layeth open his folly." Although Attila the Hun was not necessarily what some would call a good man, he was an extremely strong and competent leader. In his short life, he accomplished a great task. Perhaps his greatest importance was his ability to unite the Huns. In the year 453, Attila died. His death on the night of one of his weddings is said to have been from internal bleeding or murder by his new wife, whose family's kingdom he had recently conquered. Both negative and positive articles about Attila's leadership styles have been written regarding education. The articles "From Attila the Hun to Mary Had a Little Lamb" and "Why Attila the Hun Would Have Been a Great Principal" are 2 such examples. Though his personal life was not one that Christians might seek to emulate, his leadership qualities display many practical and applicable traits that a strong leader can surely implement into his or her own life.